everyone. This is Ferrante Frazier with another segment of Natural is Health. We're glad that you're present here today. We're really thankful that you've joined in with us where we can talk about health and get you on a more healthful path without using the medicines, the herbs, or the supplement. We want to thank ATR Media for allowing us to talk about holistic health and healing in our communities and to heal the world on a more natural path, not drugging up the world to get healthy, not stabbing each other with needles and all type of stuff like, addicts do to get health. We want to teach you a more natural way, get back to, taking responsibility for your own health. We're going to stop blaming it on germs, bacterias, and devils and witches and all type of other superstitional things. We're going to look at our own habits, our own mode of living to create health and to maintain health when we have it. We got to keep it once we regain it back. It's all about keeping it. It's not going back into a dirty lifestyle and get sick again. But we want to thank the ATR Media, all things relevant, Black media. It's on Facebook and it's also on YouTube. You want to go there and like, share, and follow. All right, so make sure you tag other people into all your friends and family, tag them into this live show right now. We're coming to you live right now, giving you valuable information that you need to hear when it comes to your health. There's a lot of information out here being told about health right now. And we're in a time right now where a lot of people are suffering. They don't know what to do. So much information is scaring them about health in their bodies. And we're going to be totally committed to bringing you sound science, none of the hocus bogus. We're not offering you medicines or herbs or supplements. We're not selling you anything up here. This is just free information that we're providing you. All we require you to do is just share it, hit like, comment, do things that just to keep you interactive and let us know that it's benefiting. And come up here every now and then and say, hey, I listened to what you said. I started eating more fruits and vegetables, and I lost that unwanted weight. I started breathing fresh air more. And I noticed that I'm not coughing up phlegm so much. I started getting more rest. And here it is, man. I got energy, buku energy now. All because I started going to sleep, taking naps and stuff like that, that you hear that we talk about. All these things that we mention to you is natural. I'm your holistic, naturopathic, natural orthopathic practitioner, hydrophysician out of Savannah. We have a clinic here called Savannah Natural Health. It's on the south side of Savannah. We have our number 912-227-9335. We have many literature that's available. You can even go to Amazon and just look up Ferrante Frazier, and it'll come up with some the literature that we have, and you can order it right from there. And it's a path that you will follow in those books that will teach you the conditions for health. There are conditions for health. I actually was talking to an individual yesterday, and I was explaining to him that there's conditions for everything. There's conditions for a squash to be a good squash. There's conditions for a rose to become a rose. There's conditions around everything in life. Well, so does man have conditions. And those conditions need to be obeyed if we wish to have sound health. And Natural is Health is going to be teaching you these sound ways of health. These means and these principles that are unadulterated every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. So make sure that you pull up a chair, get you some fruits and vegetables. We're going to have dinner together. I'll do all the talking while you do your eating of your fresh fruits and vegetables. And make sure you have a big salad. When the last time you ate a big salad of lettuce, cucumber, bell peppers, tomatoes, a little avocado, not too much. You don't want to overdo it with the fats, but just a little bit in there. And, have like some other tender leaves. It don't even have to be so, big. It need to be big, but not so much of different ingredients. It can be just some simple ingredients, just eat your 2-3 cucumbers, every so often at a meal. Eat you some celery, and all this raw, not cooked. You rarely hear somebody cooking some cucumbers. So we want you to pull up your chair and sit and watch us, like how you would get you some chips and some cookies and sit there and watch a show on television, a comedy, a romance, a horror movie. Well, this is for education on how to live uninterrupted with, sound health. And you go for the longevity of life if you pay attention to these conditions for health. Hi, Mike. I'm glad you're here. We love that you're always present here. And thank you. So we're going to go into our topic here in just a minute. But I just want to share with you that our ways are natural. Now, a lot of people have different ways to help you do stuff. They have these different concoctions. They have these different pills. They have these different treatments. And, people have their own perspective of what health is. We're always just going to give you the natural way, with none of that hocus pocus, like I said, none of those pills, potions, anything. We're just going to get you to identify something in your life that is not in balance with the conditions for health. We know the conditions for health. Just like we know how to grow the best cucumber. We just have to go into the science book or the horticulturist book in this matter. Our book is the biology, anatomy, and physiology. In the cucumber, we need to look into the horticulture or the agriculture book and find out the conditions needed for you to grow the best cucumber. We need to know what temperature it need to be around that cucumber, how often to water it, how to prepare the soil for it. We need to protect it from, animals and stuff like that. So there's conditions for us to have the best cucumber. We need to know if it need to be in the shade or if it need to have full sunlight. So there's conditions around that cucumber. So we want to make sure that you are aware of the conditions for health in humans. And that's what we're going to provide you for. So look for us to just give you unadulterated information about health. And our topic today is a great one because we're going to learn about the ideal food versus, unideal food. So we're first talking about noodles, cookies, and little Debbie snacks, all these different little snack foods that we tend to consider to be food. A lot of people think this is food. What are you eating tonight? Oh, throw me some noodles on. That's not food. What are you eating? We eat for nutrition. We don't just eat just to eat. Well, I guess we do eat just to eat. But the real reason for eating is to nourish our body. The reason for you to pull up at a gas station and, to get gas, you got to replenish your empty tank. When your car is on E, you pull up to the gas station and you replenish it with a certain amount of gasoline. You don't overfill it. If the tank is on F after you done put $40 in there, you don't continuously just keep pressing the gas and letting the gas spill all over the place and create a mess. But some of us, we sit at the table uninterrupted and we just sit there and fill ourselves until it's running over. I mean, gas everywhere. I mean, literally gas, no pun intended, but yeah, pun intended, gassing up the place, So gas everywhere, but it's just not the liquid gas, it's the air fume. But let's look at the standard snack foods are not wholesome foods. They're not wholesome food at all to nourish our trillions of cells. We have trillions of cells in our body. And those trillions of cells need vitamins. They need minerals, they need sugars, they need water, and these are the things that we get. The cell requires food from our food. We need those things. We need the water, we need the vitamins, we need the minerals, we need the simple sugars, and we need fiber. So we get those things from not Little Debbie, Little Debbie don't have no vitamins in it. When you go and get that little cinnamon swirl, or you get the honey bun, you get the cinnamon sticks, you get the Dunkin' sticks, you get the some other one. I haven't eaten those things in so long, so I kind of lost track of what they got out there for snacks and little whatnots and stuff. But we have to look on the back of it. You'll see that there's no vitamins in these things. There's no minerals in these things. But if they are, they have been enriched with vitamins. Like they add vitamin E or vitamin B or vitamin A or some other vitamin to the mixture. But they're fortified, meaning that they're not real vitamins and minerals. They just crushed up from, like you would get from you'll say from the like the health food store. You go and get these dead vitamins that's in a pill bottle. So they just crush up some vitamin E pills or vitamin C pills or any of the so-called vitamins that they enrich your food with. They crush it up and they pour it into your food, and now they're saying that your food is vitamin enriched. It has vitamins in it. Now this stuff is dead. It wasn't useful in the pill form, and neither is it going to be useful now in your food, because you got to even think about it through the process of fixing the food. You got to cook it and put it up under extreme temperatures and different denaturing of things. So here it is. We see that these things cannot be of any value for you. All right. So let's look also at these simple sugars. These sugars that are in the snack food, they're not real food, right? They're not real sugar that the body can make use of. These are unnatural sugars. These denatured sugars. It's not the simple sugars that you get out of fruits and vegetables and other wholesome foods in moderate amounts or in large amounts, like when you eat a pineapple, grapes, and bananas, a sweet banana, watermelon, all these high sugary fruits. Those fruits are simple sugar. And those simple sugars go into your cells and you breathe in oxygen. If y'all remember from our show last week, we showed you how oxygen splits the sugar and turn let water out. And it gives us energy. When the oxygen fuses with the sugar, it produces this combustion of energy. And the leftover is this water, and you got this carbon dioxide. And the carbon dioxide is sent out through the body, and the water hydrates you. But it can't do that with these sugars that we're eating from these, processing meals, from our Dixie crystals and all these other so-called crystalline sugars, crystals that they make out here, that we put in our cakes, cookies, and all type of other stuff. We frost our cereals with them. But we're going to talk about General Mills and Nabisco and all these others, so Little Debbie and all the other little friends, because they in cahoots together with the snack stuff, and we got to get away from them. It's nothing about food in those things. And if we talk about that, we have to go into defining the SAD diet. All right, the SAD diet is the average American diet, the standard American diet. All right. So the SAD diet is the standard American diet. We all have this average American breakfast that we eat: bacon, eggs, sausage, grits, butter toast, jelly on it. So if we go to any breakfast place, it's the same breakfast. You go to McDonald's, they got sausage, bacon, and ham, egg, cheese sandwich. All right. You go to Arby's, they got the same thing. All of them got hash browns. They got a juice for you to drink. So it doesn't matter where you go. You're going to get sausage, egg, and cheese. You're going to get ham, egg, and cheese. You're going to get bacon, egg, and cheese. Or you're just going to get eggs and cheese on a biscuit. You're going to get grits. You're going to have cheese in your grits. You're going to have shrimp in grits. You're going to have fish in grits. So the standard American diet is familiar across the board. You know, we're eating the same food. There's no difference. You might differ from day to day. You know, you might want sausage today and bacon tomorrow. And some of us just eat the same food day in and day out. There's no complexity to our eating. It's really simple meals that we're eating. It's just that we're not eating the right thing. You know, and someone said, man, we get tired of eating just fruit. And we just pick one fruit and say, I'm tired of eating apple. Man, you know how many different fruits out there? But you're not tired of eating chicken? How many different types of chickens you eat? You're not tired of eating cow? How many different cows you eat? You know, how many variety of cows you've been eating? You know, we don't get tired of, these other foods that we tend to indulge in so much, you know. How many different varieties is the only one we can say a different variety is when we go to start talking about seafood as in fish and stuff like that. Black Empowerment said this is what is killing the Black community. Bad eating habits leads to disease. And this is definitely true, it's killing the Black community. I can even share a story that I have this a child from you'll say a white woman, and when I met her, when I met her at a young age, they were eating way different than how I was brought up to eat. You know, in our cabbage, we had bacon. They didn't have bacon in their cabbage. It was just some steamed cabbage. You know, we wouldn't have rice with our cabbage. It would just be cabbage and a piece of pork chop, and that would be it. And some lettuce, a little salad. Their diet was different. But you know, in my house, you know, we had greasy fry a pound of bacon, dump it into the cabbage, cook the cabbage until it was withered down, and it'd be over a big bed of white rice. We'd have fried chicken, we'd have fried pork chop, we'd have a piece of cornbread or a biscuit or something like that, and we're gonna wash it down with this big old glass of sweet, really sweet tea or some other fruit drink, or we drinking soda. So we have been eating, and we call it soul food a lot of the time, the way we cook, but this so-called soul food is taking away our soul. And I know a lot of people might say, oh man, we were raised on that. Yeah, but that raising us up on that is what's producing the ailments in our community. If we want the Black community to get rid of diabetes, if we want to get rid of all these other issues that's created high blood pressure, high cholesterol, that's predominantly in the Black community, we have to change the way we eat. Our eating is what's producing it. We got a high-fat diet. Everything that we eat got animal fat in it, or animal food that we're cooking. So we living on a high fat diet. Soul food is a high sugary and high fat diet. We're eating some of the most sugary stuff. We put a bunch of butter in our desserts and a bunch of sugar, and we always on these desserts. So we're eating a high fat diet and a high sugary diet. That is you'll say the ingredients for diabetes. All right, and we're going to have a show explaining all about how high fat and a lot of sugar is what's producing diabetes in us, or the so-called high blood sugar. We're not going to use the medical term. That they call it diabetes. It's just high blood sugar. You got a bunch of sugar in your blood. You got high blood sugar. Well, why is it staying in the blood? We don't want the sugar to stay in the blood. We want it to go in the cell and give us energy. But for some reason, it's getting stuck in the blood. And it's just keep accumulating in the blood, and we never have energy. But we're going to talk about that. All right? So make sure you stay tuned to all our shows. If you want to get rid of diabetes, or what they call diabetes, but we're going to call it high blood sugar. Hey, make sure you check out our show every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Natural is Health. All right, so let's get back into talking about this sad diet. Like we define breakfast as breaking fast. All right, if you look at the word breakfast, it's break fast. All right, so you breaking a fast. You ate dinner at, let's say, 8 o'clock yesterday evening, and you didn't eat anything, and you went to sleep. You woke up, And the first thing you eat, you're breaking a fast. All right. So fasting is just going without food for a period of time. It don't have to be 30 days or 40 days like Jesus. You know, you can go 10 days and 10 hours and you're fasting. You fasted for 10 hours. And then you're going to break that fast with breakfast, in other words. You break fast. All right. So that's why when you hear breakfast is the most important meal of the day, it's because it's the first meal you eat. And if your stomach is sleeping or resting, because when you stop eating, your stomach tends to rest and start repairing itself. Anytime you're not using an organ or a system, it goes into repair mode or it goes in inactivity mode. So when you're not using your digestive tract, it goes into, downtime, and it goes to start healing itself. So when you wake it back up, it goes to sleep. So when you wake it back up, you have to wake it back up gently. So that's why breakfast is very important. We always tell individuals to break their fast with a juicy fruit. Watermelon, for example, especially if they did a long fast. But a short fast would still be ideal, or your first meal of the day. A 10-hour fast. We usually eat after 12 o'clock. That's what time we break fast. We break fast or breakfast at 12 o'clock. And that's going to be a juicy fruit. Pineapple, oranges, grapes. We might do something like grapefruit. Grapefruit, we love grapefruit. So those would be some of the juicier fruits that we would break fast with. So breakfast is really a very important meal. It shouldn't be waking up with greasy bacon and eggs and oatmeal and cream of wheat and fried potatoes and all these other different concoctions we made for ourselves to say breakfast. And we're wondering why we're sluggish. And not only do we eat this breakfast and, this crazy conglomerate of stuff, we go and run off. We don't even give the stomach a chance to digest that food. We eat a big blob of stuff and we run off. Most of the time we get sleepy after doing it now. A lot of us, if we actually pay attention, after eating all that grease, after eating all that food, the next thing we want to do is go to sleep. We should never have to recover from our meal. A meal should provide you with energy. It should have you, energetic. It shouldn't have you, oh God, what's going on with me? Oh Lord, I'm stuffed. Oh man, I got a headache. Oh God, it feels like a ton of something is in my belly. Oh, I'm about to have to be on the toilet all night. When you eat the food, if you're eating the right food, you shouldn't have to be going through these issues. So we have to look at the standard American diet, and we have to look at the ideal diet, the hygienic diet, the best way to eat for human growth, the best way to eat for human development, the best way to eat to maintain human health. Now, like I said, there's many options when you go into the grocery store. But those options are not ideal for, it's not the best gas to use in your car, So if we look at the average lunch, that's breakfast. And most of us, we get up and we start eating breakfast at 8 o'clock, and then we hear eating again at 12 o'clock. Now, here's this old story that one of my hygienic teachers used to always teach us in school. He said, 12 o'clock should never, when the 12 o'clock hit, it should not tell you that it's lunchtime. Why everybody hungry at lunchtime? Why everybody eating? You're only supposed to eat when you're hungry. When hunger presents itself, that's when you should eat. You shouldn't just be eating because the clock says so. It's 12 o'clock. It's time for me to eat. We eat when hunger presents itself. Mobley said, my breakfast is banana with strawberries and blueberries, water, lunch, organic mangoes from Brighter Day, dinner, vegan mushrooms and cauliflower, water, water, water. Feeling great. Great advice every week, sir. Thank you so much. I would just suggest just throwing a little something out there. You know, we natural as health, and my thing is nutrition. And I know you come here for advice. Let me tweak that a little bit for you. If you can put that comment back up there for me, we want to tweak that real quick before we go on. Don't want to leave anything unturned. Let's look at your breakfast: a banana with strawberries and blueberries. It's great that you're breaking fast with fruit. However, according to the food combining, bananas is a sweet fruit, strawberries and blueberries is an acid fruit. It'd be more ideal to eat all sweet fruits together and all acid fruits together. You'll even see an even greater jump in your nutrition. Your digestion will be even more powerful if you just modify that. Eat like bananas with grapes, do your strawberries with like oranges, pineapples, lemons, grapefruit, star fruits. I would do something like that. Now your bananas go with apples, pears, peaches, plums, grapes, and things of that nature. I would tell you to also look at mushrooms. Mushrooms is a fungus. I would possibly say use eggplants or something like that in place of the mushrooms in your meals. So that's just a little advice. I hope you try it and come back up here later and tell us that how that shift did for you. All right. So best of health and happiness on that. All right. So what I was saying a few minutes ago that a lot of us have about 30 minutes for lunch, and we bolt down our food really rapidly because you know we're told to go eat at 12 o'clock, even when our stomach is not ready to eat. It's not even. We probably just still got bacon in there that's dissolving and fermenting and rotting inside of us, and we go on to put some more bacon in us on the bacon double cheeseburger or something like that. Or we eating a big old sub from Baldino or Subway or somewhere with all type of ingredients on it. All right, so our mixture of food, we're just throwing in our belly as if our belly have hands to separate this stuff. Okay, I gotta digest this bread. I gotta digest this meat. I gotta digest this lettuce. I gotta digest this pickles. I gotta digest, all these different ingredients. I gotta do something with this mayonnaise and mustard and ketchup. I don't know what to do with this stuff. That's not food. I don't know what it's there for. So the stomach is like, what I do with this stuff? So it just send a bunch of acid there to burn it all up, or it lets it sit there and just rot, and then enzymes come to eat away what we call it germs and viruses. But we don't get good digestion. Our stomach don't have those hands to pull, and we're gonna have a class on that as well. I know while we're here, we already got it lined up, but I'm just exposing you to some of the stuff we're going to be talking about because our path is to teach you the ideal way to health. Natural is health. Just the natural way. No superstition there. It's just natural. Just look at your habits. Let's change some things. If we change some things, we'll start seeing a change. So if we change the way we're eating, then we don't have to worry about the so-called diseases that mankind is suffering from. If we start changing our mode of air quality, open up them windows and stuff like that. Excellent. It's no problem. Thank you for listening. We're thankful for your presence. And just share it. Share it and share it with all your friends and family. Let them know that we'll be up here on ATR Media every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. We don't allow time for our food to digest when we sit, we working, we come and sit down, and we eat our food real quick. Some of us have to leave the job to go and get food and then eat it while we're in the car. We chewing it down because we know we got to get back to work and all type of stuff. So we're not even chewing our food up properly. Now, here again, if we know the stomach don't have hands in which to separate the food, neither does it have teeth to chew the food up after you done swallow a whole half a hamburger down your throat. So how is it going to process a whole half a hamburger? It's not even chewed up properly. I know how you heard back in the days that you're supposed to chew every bite you put in your mouth. You should chew about 40 times. I might not say that many times. It might be a little too much. But at least chew the food up into smaller pieces that the body can make use of it. Can't make use of a whole. Why would you even have teeth if you don't use them? Some of us are losing them, but what if we didn't have teeth to chew up the food and process it? It's like we're acting like we're a snake. We can swallow everything whole. We're not snakes or anything like that. So we have to make use of the tools that God has provided us with these teeth. And we got to come in there and chew up that food, and make it small and let it turn into this bolus. And we swallow it down easily. And it's already mixed in with the enzyme in your mouth. Notice that when you eat a piece of bread, you can put a bread in your mouth and then it automatically start dissolving because there's enzymes in that saliva that breaks down carbohydrates. You didn't know that, either. But that's the only place you can get it from, except for your pancreas. But you don't want to use that one. You want to use this one. That's a backup. You want to use this one right here. This is the normal way, the more efficient way to do it. That doesn't, mess up the physiology or messes up the metabolism of the body. So we use this amylase in our mouth, or tylen, but it's called amylase to most people. Yeah, it's stopping you from biting tongue. Good one. That's a good one. But if we chew this food up properly, it'll mix in with the saliva, and that saliva got these enzymes that's going to break that food down properly. So if you're chewing it down and swallowing it down before it can mix up properly, then the food just sitting in your stomach. Ain't nothing there to break it down. It's just sitting there. Ain't nothing there to break it down. I say that twice now. It's just sitting there. Ain't nothing to break it down. So guess what's happening when your food sits in your stomach? It's dark in there. It's wet and it's warm. Now, what happened to food that sits out on the table in a dark, wet, warm environment? It rots, it decomposes, it ferments. You got maggots and all type of flies growing on it, mold and all type of stuff. It's going on inside of our bellies. We wonder why we belching up and smelling all kind of stuff, or we passing that gas and it's, oh God. Well, you just say, It's coming because our food is not properly digested. It's rotten. Food that rots don't nurture the body. We can't get no type of vitamins and minerals and sugars and water from rotting food. Food has to be properly digested if we want to make use of those properties in that food. So we got to make sure we're eating under the right ideal conditions. Right? So we also have to notice that even snakes and animals, we have to look at. That's right. Thank you so much. But we even have to look at the animals. If we look at them, even that snake that I was just talking about, after they get finished eating, what they do? They go sit down. Tigers, they don't go running off playing after just got finished devouring a bear or something like that, a little coyote or something. They go sit down. They got to go relax and let their food properly digest. You don't see them doing flips and playing and all type of stuff. But us, we run off and start back working or start playing and doing all type of other stuff instead of relax. So when we eat, that's the thing we're sharing with you today. Eat, break your fast with the ideal food, juicy fruits and vegetables. Wake your stomach up gently. Don't wake it up with that fried bacon. Get up, wake up. You stomach, you wake up. That stomach gonna hurt. It's gonna ache. It's gonna have you suffering. You throw a big old piece of biscuit in there. But if you eat gently, it's like, hey, wake up, baby. Wake up, baby. Or like coming to America, playing the music for you. It'll wake you up. You feel great. You feel energetic. And then when you have your lunch, you eat a good, simple lunch, a good salad. All right? Get a nice salad. And then eat it under the right conditions. If you don't have time to eat, skip that meal. You're not gonna die from skipping a meal. You know, we got plenty. Some of us can skip about 150 meals before they die. Got a bunch of stored up, reserves on us. We got some up under our arm. We got some in our belly. We got some around our neck. Some of us can't hardly talk. I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm just telling you, those reserves. We got some behind our thighs that be so big and thick and rolls, but those are reserves. If you want to get rid of them, well, let's downsize them by using them. Let's stop eating out tonight and let's go into the cabinets and use up some of that food we got stored in there. So let's start putting food in our body and use up some of the stored up food we already been reserving in the arm, reserving in our necks. Right? So we gotta use up some of that stuff, but we do that by stop bringing stuff in. If you want to use up what you got already in, stop bringing in new material. So skip a couple of meals or eat less when you are eating meals. Don't fill up the gas tank every time. Only put $5 in the gas tank. Right? So also we have to look at the average American dinner and supper. It's the same. Like I said, for breakfast you go to the same. We always go to the same places. They got the same food. The lunch places we go to, we eat the same stuff: chicken, hamburgers, hot dogs, French fries. That's the main stuff that we're eating for lunch. For dinner, we're doing pretty much the same thing: fish, chicken, pork chops, hamburger, beef, some type of something like that. So it's a standard American diet. That's why we are suffering the same diseases, because our lifestyles are very similar. I know we might think that we're different in many ways, but we're also similar. Right? Let's look at it. The medical model of eating defies the physiological capability to digest food. Let's look at the pyramid. That's how we kind of grew up on the food pyramid. It has you eating all kind of stuff. It has you eating meat. You're drinking milk. You're eating beans. You're eating rice or carbohydrates. It wants you to have fats. It might have some oil up there or something. But it has you eating a conglomerate of stuff. And now even this food plate, this new concept they got where it's not the pyramid anymore. They got this food plate. It still have you eating a bunch of different foods at the same time. Now let's look at it. Imagine if I had you right now. You're up here and you're listening to our show. Now I'm talking about some really powerful stuff right here. I'm talking to you about how to control your eating and how to eat in such a way you don't have to suffer disease. Ain't that news? I mean, that's news, right? Now, I know Mr. Hall with ATR would say, hey, man, we're bringing you the news, man. We got good news for you. You don't have to suffer with diabetes. You don't have to suffer with high blood pressure. We're bringing you ideal information. All you have to do is just listen. So we're giving you this information, right? All you have to do is soak it in. They're going to give you this pyramid. They're going to give you this food plate. But hygienic principles tell you, hey, you should just eat simple meals. Because remember what I told you, your stomach don't have hands. Push this to the side. I'm going to deal with this. But you're listening to us, right? We're giving you good information. Sound like I just said that a few minutes ago, deja vu. But let's look at it. Let's say that the phone rings and you start talking on the phone. You start playing with your child, asking you questions. Your husband come in or your wife come in and say, hey, I need to talk to you, and y'all start talking. Somebody starts shooting outside. Your favorite show is on. You got a book that you're reading. That's just too much stuff going on for one person to be able to concentrate full attention in any of those one thing. So imagine your stomach. Your stomach can only get itself put in a position to digest a certain food. That's why I told the young lady earlier that I wouldn't eat a sugary fruit and a acid fruit at the same meal, because the stomach got to prepare itself to deal with the sugary fruit. Then it have to prepare itself to deal with the acid fruit. You can't do both at the same time. It's just one little compartment. So it's ideal to eat things in the right combination. So if you're eating the same compatible foods, then those foods will be digested. But if you're eating foods that are not compatible with each other, then one have to wait on the other. So if there's one food that required the stomach to be real acidic, and another food requires the stomach to be alkaline, if you eating both at the same time, well, which way would the stomach be? Well, how would the stomach decide? Well, which one should I digest first? And if it do decide to deal with the acid food, guess what the alkaline food is doing? Sitting in your stomach. Is it sitting there rotting? So it's ideal, if you want to have the best nutrition, to eat foods that are compatible with each other. We're going to have a show on that. I know we're coming up with all kind of shows up here. So that's why we're telling you to stay tuned. We're going to be talking natural as F up here. All right? And y'all have to start saying that with me. We want to be natural as F. You know? But we're talking about the snacking in between meals, because if you think about it, we eat just about every 5 hours. Most of us, we eat breakfast at 8 o'clock, and then we eating again. Well, we eating almost every 4 hours. All right. And then we snack in between those meals. So it's like we're really eating every 2 hours, because if we eat at 8, we're snacking at 10. Then we eat at 12, then we're snacking at 2. And we're snacking again at 4. And we're snacking again at 6. And then we eat at around about 8 o'clock. Yeah, natural as that. So we're constantly eating all day long. We've never given our stomach a chance to digest food. Because usually when we eat food, it stays in our digestive, in our gastric digestion for 5 hours. All right. So let's say you eat at 8 o'clock. Let's look at that. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. All right. So our stomach is not prepared to eat again until 1 o'clock. And that's a healthy person. Now, the average person is not that healthy that they can eat. They might need to go even a little longer before they eat again. Because a lot of us don't have fully charged digestion, because we done been, wearing it out, eating a whole bunch of food, overeating, eating under stress, eating too often. So our digestive capability of digesting food have diminished over time, but we can regain that by giving it rest and giving it the right food. All right. So that snacking in between, we know that there's 5 hours. So if we're eating in between meals, then we're not giving that proper digestion time. And so if we ate an apple at 8 and then we're eating again at 10, that apple needed some time, but we pushed it out and we put something else in there. And then in 2 hours, we pushed that out. It ain't even had its 5 hours to digest. And we put something else in there. So when your food leaves your stomach, it dumps into your small intestines to finish digestion. And then it's going to be absorbed into blood. Well, assimilated into blood, and then absorbed into your cells. But if that food hasn't been properly broke down, it can't be assimilated. If it hasn't been broken down properly, it can't go to the next step. So when the food goes into our small intestines, it's not properly ready to be there. So the food just sits there and continuously rot and irritate our digestive tract, irritate our intestines. That's why we have that irritation in there, that rumbling and all type of stuff going on. And that's why we end up, with those cancers of the intestines later on, because we just dumping food in there to rot. We just got this rotten food just constantly decomposing and rotting inside of us. That's what's producing our irritation. Irritation leads to inflammation. Inflammation leads to ulceration. Ulceration leads to induration. Induration brings on this metamorphosis, this mutation. This mutation is cancer. So irritation is the beginning of all cancers. All right. So let's look at this now. All right. So even our snacking in between meals, we remember we're not getting the mineral deficient in our food. All the snacks are high fat, sugar, high in salt. Mostly all the foods that we snack on is just fatty, sugar, and salt. That's all it really is. Maybe some flour. If you look at mostly all ingredients, you're going to see the first thing is flour, corn, or wheat. All right. Flour, corn, or wheat. All right. Then you're going to see sugar. You're going to see all these other different hydrolyzed, some MSG. They got different names for MSG. They don't just put MSG on your thing. Hey, we got MSG in your food. Because a lot of us know what MSG is. That's like, hey, we got rat poison in your food. No, I'm not eating that. But if they call that rat poison billow bean, or call it vitamin extract, that sounds good when you hear vitamin extract. You're gonna think, oh, this is a vitamin. But that's just the name they gave the rat poison. That's what they patented the rat poison under, that name, vitamin extract. It's to fool you. So you reading this thing, oh, vitamin extract is in here, but it's really MSG. So we're poisoning ourselves by these names, these word wizards. They word wizards, and they get us to eat these foods even though it's labeled with poison. It's just that we can't understand the terminology. We can't decipher what that stuff's saying on the label. Even though we're reading the label, yes, blue 9, something, yellow, dye, something. We continuously eat it. We don't know what that stuff is. Yeast extract and all type of other stuff we read up there. All we heard was flour, wheat, corn, and then the sugar. Everything after that, we don't know what that stuff is. Natural seasonings, natural flavors, artificial flavors. All that is poison. They just don't want to say the name, so they come up with these other terms. Now, if it was straight MSG, they'd have to put it up there. But since they dilute it with a little something else, they can give it a whole nother name. It's not MSG anymore. Huh? You see what I'm talking about? It's like you do with all Arnold Palmer. It's not tea anymore. You put a little lemonade in there. It's not lemonade anymore. You put a little tea in there, and you get a whole nother drink. So we can give it another name, Arnold Palmer. So that's what they do. They play on words, word wizards. But we talked a little bit about all this fat and sugar. It produces a lot of the issues that we suffer from with, in our yeast infections in women, even in men. Men get a lot of yeast infections as well. They just don't identify it in the manner that a lot of these women identify it in. We have a lot of itching going on. We have a lot of rawness in our skin tissues and different things of that nature. Anytime that yeast grows in abundantly in our body, yeast is a microbe, just like any other viruses that live in our body, on our body, and different stuff like that. They are just, passenger viruses, passenger microbes. They just, just ride along, and they help us live by doing favors for us. But anytime that they grow out of proportion, they become a burden on the system or the organism. They start causing problems in Dodge when they tend to grow rapidly because the condition for their growth is present. If a bunch of sugar is in the blood, then candida is going to grow rapidly. All right. And if that blood is staying highly sugarized and not going to the cells where it can be used for energy, then that microbe is going to grow and start spreading throughout the body. It's traveling looking for more places to inhabit. It's like, hey, man, hey, it's growth going on. We got food. We got the conditions for us to grow. So the candida, like, oh man, this is a party going on now, boy. This is the year that we booming. This is the economic boom, going on. But that causes problem to the organism because they're taking over. So what we have to do to get rid of that colonization that they got going on, these viruses, we got to starve them to death. Take what they need away from them. Take the sugar out of your diet. These processed sugars and these other foods, and it'll starve them. Parasites live off of decaying matter. If you want the parasites to disappear, get rid of the decaying matter. Clean up. Get rid of the dirt out of the trash can, the filth. Clean up this place. Clean up this body. And you'll see parasites disappear. You got to abandon the snacking, drinking with meals. We talk about that as well, drinking without meals. We're getting close to the end here. And I want y'all to stay tuned because we got Alicia Blakely coming up in just a little bit. All Things Relevant got a bunch of different shows that come on the platform to teach us about what's going on in the community. I appreciate them so much. I'm so thankful for them allowing us to come up here and talk about holistic health, do what we love to do about when we talk about nutrition, we talk about the conditions for health. But we also want to talk about drinking. So make sure you go and follow them and go like their page right now. Let's talk about drinking with our meals. That's another thing that tends to make it bad for us in our digestion. All right. So the standard American diet is to, hey, go to McDonald's, get your hamburger, fries, and a drink. You go to anywhere, they're gonna say, hey, your meal, and they're gonna give you a drink. So we've been accustomed to drinking with our food when we eat. Now, if you eat fruit, you never see nobody sit down to a meal of oranges and say, hey, man, I'm thirsty. Just got finished eating 5 oranges. Oranges, you drink orange juice. How many times you sit down to a meal of watermelon and say, hey, I need some water. This watermelon got me parched after eating this watermelon. Listen to the term, watermelon. It's 90 to 98% water. You don't even have to chew that thing. Just put it in your mouth and just start dissolving. It's like just a sponge of water. Pineapples, all that, just like you chew and just get the water out of them. So you don't have to drink with those things. The food is the drink. Actually, that's what hunger is when we talk about natural hygiene. Hunger is thirst. And if you're eating the right food, you satisfy both. If you're eating fruits, you satisfy hunger and thirst because the water that you're getting is water that is filled with vitamins, minerals, and sugar. And then the cellulose is the fiber that you need to help move waste through your digestive tract. Mother Nature knew what she was doing when she grew those trees for us and provide us every season with the foods that we need to be eating. She grow watermelon when we need to eat watermelon. We don't need to be eating it when she don't provide it for us in our area. She grow what we need to help us deal with this environment that we're living in. Right? Mother Nature is just, Mother knows best. But if we drink with our meals, you remember I talked about enzymes in your mouth? That enzyme is there to mix in as you're chewing up the food. You're chewing it up, and it get more. You'll say it tends to get watery as you're chewing it up because you're mixing in these enzymes. And you notice that I said it was breaking down. Water is not going to break it down itself. It's enzymes in there that's dissolving and breaking down the food into smaller particles. Then it goes down in your stomach, and continuously while it's in your stomach, it's already mixed in and it's steady breaking it down. So once it break it down, it has to, if you drink water, that water only stays in your stomach for 10 to 15 minutes, or any type of drink only stays in your stomach for 10 to 15 minutes. Then it passes on into the blood, or out to be urinated out. So when you drink with your meal, you tend to wash out the enzymes. The enzyme that was in your mouth is water soluble, because remember, it was in your mouth in a water solution. So it travels in water, so it has to dissolve in that water. So when you drink something, you dissolve it in your stomach, and it leaves your stomach in 10 to 15 minutes. But your food needs 5 hours of digestion. So for the next 4.5 hours, your food doing what? Sitting there rotting, all because you drunk with your meal. So that's why we're telling you to wait. Drink 10 to 15 minutes prior to eating. Wait 2 to 6 hours after eating before you start drinking. But hygienic meals, when you're eating fruits, don't require that much. And like I said, you don't really drink that much when you're eating fruits. I want to thank y'all for tuning in, and I want y'all to share with as many people as you possibly can. This has been another episode of Natural as Health. This is your hygienist, Ferrante Frazier. All things hygienist. Natural hygiene is the term. I want to thank all the people that came before us, Dr. Shelton, Sylvester Graham, a lot of the different people who carried on this information about hygienic living. And we just want to say kudos to all those who apply it to their life. Don't just be a hearer. The greatest doctor of all time, Jesus of the Bible, he healed people by just touching them, heal them from a distance and all that stuff. So he said, don't just be a doer of the word. I mean, don't be just a hearer of the word, be a doer also. So don't just hear what we talk about up here, practice it and see the changes in your life. Best of health and happiness, and see you next week.